going to be online. So we'll go through and say hey to everybody. I'm Carrie. I'm your host. Want to introduce yourselves since we don't have too many people in yet?
I'm Brian, everyone. I'm the co-host of the Gwinnett County Elementor. And I've been using Elementor for about 1.5 years now.
Okay.
I'm Greg. I'm calling in from California. I run the Elementor Silicon Valley Meetup, which we just finished about 1.5 hours ago.
Oh, really?
Oh, cool.
Good group.
Yeah, my name is Jean Marie. I'm in Norcross. I've been using Elementor almost a year now. Yeah, so I love to explore and to know more and more.
Okay, well.
Cool.
Thank you.
And Wayne, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I've been using Elementor about 1 year.
Good deal. I'm going to let some people in here. I'm going to have to, oh, here we go. There we go. Put that over there. All right, well, let's get started. Let's go back. We are going to go through some Elementor news. Not a whole lot, but there's a few things that might be of interest that we can talk about. And we're going to do a quick demonstration on, well, it'll probably take about 15, 20 minutes on how to add, use the theme builder to add site-wide header and footer. And we're going to do a sticky header that when you scroll up, it stays in place. And we don't think that'll take too much longer or longer than 30 minutes or so. And then we'll open it up to questions. If you have questions while going through the demonstration, please just put them in chat, and Brian's going to try to keep track of them. We've received a couple of questions through the Meetup Messenger. I believe Wayne had a couple. And I think I've got an answer for your first one, but we'll go over that. And we'll get into questions and answer. And so I think that we'll cover that. And so let's see. And we've already introduced ourselves. So Elementor news. Elementor 3.0 is dropping soon. Now, I don't know when that's going to drop. There is I think, Greg, if you're are you an Elementor leader?
Yeah, I am. There's going to be 2 rounds of beta. This first one just released today. They're going to do another round at some point, and eventually it'll come out. But yeah, it looks good.
And as far as I know, there's not any kind of release date set in terms of maybe they have a target, but those things tend to be moving.
Yeah, it's still I think.
Yeah, as I've read through some of the documentation, they're making some big changes. They're deprecating some of the code, and so we'll see how it comes out. But at least the way I'm going to approach it, when I upgrade to 3.0, I'm going to do it carefully, or I'm not just going to press update and go have a cup of coffee. I'm going to maybe do it on a staging server, or I make a backup before ever I update anything, but certainly going to pay close attention.
Yeah, apparently they need to change their templates too to accommodate the new styling. So a lot of that's going to
and as I understand it, and you can correct me if you have a different understanding, that biggest thing it might affect is, at least for regular users, not, there's a whole bunch of things to consider if you're a developer and you're developing plugins or themes around it, or add-ons. It's if you do a whole lot of custom CSS and you draw upon some of the Elementor classes, because some of those classes are going away, I think. So, but there's, let me,
yeah, I think some of the nested divs are going to go away. So if you're targeting them, they're not going to be there.
I'm going to get some links that I can drop in chat here real quick. I put, there's a link there up there. There's just a quick little teaser video that is where's chat? There we go. Put this in here. This link will take you to that video, and then there's on GitHub. There's information about the beta release that you could actually be a beta tester. And then I think inside of Elementor, there is a how would you call it? A box to check in your Elementor settings to be notified if you want to be a beta tester. So check that out. So it's going to be interesting. The biggest deal, as I understand it, is they're moving more continually forward with the idea that you'll be able to control what a theme used to control in terms of look and feel and fonts and colors, all inside of Elementor using theme settings and global settings. So we'll have to keep a lookout for that. So today I'm going to do a demonstration of let's see here.
I put a link in the comments that WP Tuts did a quick demo on the beta version.
Oh, good. So back down. Okay. So this is just an animated GIF of what we're going to create. Is the idea being a header that when you scroll up, the nav and the logo stick and shrink a little bit and change color. So we'll get out of that. We'll go into doing the demo here. So this is it. We're inside of the dashboard. Well, let's take it from the beginning. Inside the dashboard, and we're going to want to create a new header that is going to be used site-wide. So we'll go to Elementor Templates Theme Builder, and we'll click on Header tab. By the way, this is only for Elementor Pro, and we're going to add a new header, and we'll call it New Header. We'll call it version 2 because I've been making a fair amount of these. And let's make sure we don't have any new people trying to get in. Okay. And of course, in Elementor Pro, you have a whole bunch of sort of pre-made headers for you to use, but we're going to make one from scratch. So we're going to start out with, close this out, going to start out with a section with 2 columns. Okay. And one of the things I picked up from Dave Foy about setting up columns and sections, it helps a lot with down the road when you're getting to tablets and mobile is a kind of a little system about whenever you add a section, generally speaking, it's always qualified, you want to put 20 pixels of padding on the right, 20 pixels on the left. And then, so we've got 2 columns, and then we want to make the background on this particular case, we're going to make it a color, and we're going to make it a dark purple. Okay. So then we're going to start going to the column level. Now normally, according to sort of the system, you would add 20 pixels all the way around. But we're up at the top of the page, and we want it to be thinner, so we're kind of going to break that rule in this particular case. So we're going to add, say we'll do 20, but we're only going to do 10 at the top and 10 at the bottom. So we got that. And then I'm going to right click on this column. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to right click. Here's a good opportunity to use the navigator because the section button's getting in the way. I'm going to click on the column, right click, paste style. And then if we look at it, we can see it copied the padding. So we've got that done. So we've got two columns up here. We're going to put social buttons up here, and we're going to put a phone number, clickable phone number, to where on a mobile phone you could click it and it would dial the number. So we're going to start on the left column now. And we'll go here, and I'm going to just search social, and I'm going to load those puppies up in there. And I'm not going to put any links in them. They're just for demo purposes. For the shape, I'm going to want circle, and I'm going to align them to the left. If I go to the style, I'm going to use not the official colors that you see here. I'm going to use custom colors. I'm going to set the primary color as white, and this color palette that I'm using is preset. Gosh, I'll have to look after the demo. It's a plugin I use, but with the new global settings and stuff, you'll be able to do this inside of Elementor. Put a whole bunch of different color palettes. Anyways, got sidetracked there. Secondary color, we're going to use this purple. We're going to make the size 15 pixels. And we're not going to do any padding. We'll do the spacing of 12 pixels. And we need to move to the hover. And the primary color is again going to be white. And the secondary color is going to be, let's see, that's not right. Primary, got it. So I've kind of done some homework here ahead of time. We're going to change the white to a kind of an off-white. There we go. Okay, so when we mouse over it, it changes colors. So, all right, now we got the left column in pretty good shape. We'll move over to the right column. And we've already done the padding. So what we're going to put here, I mentioned we're going to put the phone number. It's going to have a little icon, and it's going to be a clickable to a phone number. So what we'll do is we'll use an icon list for that. So we'll just slide that on over. And we don't need but one, so we'll get rid of those. Okay. And I'm going to take the phone number, and I'm going to put that right in there. And I'm going to get rid of this icon. Do that by hitting the little garbage can. And we'll go to the icon library. I'm going to type in phone. And we'll insert that in there. And then we have to put a link. And is everybody familiar with how you put a link on a web page that will actually, if you're on a phone, dial the number, or we're aware of that? Because this is the format. Whereas you might put a link that says, you know, HTTP : whatever, or you might have a mail to and then an email address. You want to have a link, you highlight phone number and text, then you can just use this format. It's tell : and then 1 dash and then the number. So that makes that work that way. So okay, so then we're going to get into the styling of this. We're going to go alignment right. We're going to do the icon size of 24. We'll make the icon white. And then we'll use that same off-white color we had before as the rollover cover. And we did that. And let's see here. Now we're ready for the text. We'll do the same thing with the text. We'll have the text white, the hover, that off-white color. We're going to indent the text here. When it says text indent, it means putting the space in between the number and the little phone icon. Let's do it about 10 pixels. And let's work on the typography. We'll set, I'm not going to mess with the font families. I'm just kind of taking it as the default fonts that are set up in this particular configuration. So we got 16 pixels, and I'm going to make the weight a little bit heavier. So I'm going to go to 600, stand out a little bit. And then on the line height, you see how it's not really centered very well. It's kind of down, it's kind of the baseline. Let's see here. Here's somebody dinging it to get in, but I don't see them. So, okay. Sorry. I'm just going to let people join at this point. Okay. So, back to the phone. And then to deal with that being not in line, sort of lined up, we're going to increase the line height. Make sure I go to pixels, and I'm going to go to about 20. And so now it's more lined up. And so one thing I want to make sure, I think those are in good shape. So now let's go to, we're going to add another section under here that's going to have our logo, and then we're going to have our main menu. So we'll add a section, 2 columns, and we'll do the padding thing again. We'll go 20 on the right, 20 on the left, and this time we're going to make this 1/3 and 2/3. So we click on the column, go to layout, and we hit 33.33. It's 33 1/3. Of course, this will adapt to take up the rest of the 166.67. So this is 1/3, and that's 2/3. So now I'm going to set the padding on this. Again, normally we do 20, 20, 20, but because we're up in the header and we want to kind of keep sort of save vertical real estate, I'm going to unlink the top and the bottom and make them just 10. And I'm going to take care of that. So we got that set up. Then when we go to layout, we're going to be having a logo here, and we're going to have a menu here. We want them to all be lined up, horizontally. So what we'll do is we'll choose our column, and we'll go vertical align middle. So vertically it goes in the middle. So now we're going to put our logo. Wait a minute, where are we? And this is site logo. This is the logo you add in your customizer. And depending on your theme, you might have an option to use a regular one and a retina one. Is anybody not familiar with or what a retina image is? Okay, well, in case you're not, there are regular computers, like probably most computers, and then there's retina computers. I may be wrong. Somebody can correct me if I am. I believe most all retina devices, at least in terms of computers, are Apple products. Basically, what they do is they squish down the resolution, double the resolution. So if you wanted to put when you're setting up your website in your theme, you have the regular version of your logo. Let's say it's 300 pixels wide and 100 pixels tall. Your theme may also have the option to put a retina logo, which is, say, 600 pixels wide and 200 pixels tall, because Apple devices, not all, but all the newer ones, have high density of pixels. And so if somebody's on an iPhone or a later Mac and have just a regular image, it's going to look fuzzy. So this image that I put in here.
Do you know what theme does that? Do you happen to know what theme does that? I haven't seen that.
That has the two different versions?
Yeah.
Well, I use Astra theme, and it does.
It does. Okay, that's what I have as well. I haven't noticed that.
Yeah, you have to use Astra Pro, have Astra Pro installed. And then there's a section that says add logo, and you can activate, and then it puts it in the customizer, and then you can do the regular resolution or the retina resolution.
So you'll need to add both logos, the regular resolution.
Well, you don't have to do that. What I've done here is I put in the retina version, and the but this is and the retina version is 600 by 700 by 200 pixels. This is obviously not 700 by 200, but it's being constrained by the container, and I'm actually going to constrain it even more. So I'm going to go to image size. I'm going to go to custom, and I'm going to take it down to 263. These aren't random numbers. These are ones I figured out ahead of time in Photoshop. 263 by 75. Okay, and then I'm going to align it to the left. So we're set up there, I think, for the time being. And now we're going to put our menu over here. But on this one, we're going to go ahead and do the 2020 all the way around for the padding. And then we'll add our nav menu. And this is the main menu that I had already set up under appearance and menus and set up a menu. These don't actually go to any pages. These are just custom links with text, just for demo purposes. So we've got the menu chosen. We've got the main menu. We want it laid out horizontally. We're going to center it. We've already got the underline chosen as the pointer. You see how the little underline goes under there. Not going to do any animation or sub-menu indicators at this point. And then we have the mobile drop-down, which is when you have your little hamburger thing, you click on that menu that comes down. I'm going to do some styling for that. So we're going to align that center. And we're going to use the hamburger as a toggle button, and we're going to center the hamburger menu. And let's see what else we got. So, okay, then we'll go to Style, and leave the typography alone for the time being, except I want to make it a little heavier. The text color is going to be the dark purple, and then the hover color is going to be the Elementor red. I say it's Elementor red because I just took a eyedropper onto that corner of the Elementor logo, and then the pointer underneath I'm going to make that same color. Okay, so then we go to the drop down. Now, this is for the main menu, the drop down part, and we're going to just set but this is still for the mobile part. Drop down. Okay, we're going to set the background color as a predefined color. It's just kind of a gray. Got that colon in there. And we'll pop that in there. We're good to go on that. Leave that typography kind of the default. I'm going to go down. I'm looking for the divider. Here's the divider. This will divide the menu items in the drop down. And we're going to pick a solid. See, we'll pick this another kind of a grayish color, light gray. And we'll pop that in there. And we'll put the border width at 1. And then we'll go down to the toggle button. And this is a little hamburger menu, if you will. And we're going to have the color, which is the actual little layers of the hamburger. We're going to have that white. And then the background that it's going to sit on is going to be the Elementor red. And on hover, we'll keep the white, and we'll change that to the Elementor purple. So I think we've got all of those things set up. So now we need to make things sticky. So to do that, we have to head on over. We have to select. We're just going to make this section here sticky, so that when it scrolls, the page is scrolled up, this part will go ahead and disappear. But once it hits this line here, this section will stop, and the page will slide up underneath it. So I'm going to select that section, and I'm going to go to Advanced, and I'm going to go to Motion Effects. And then I'm going to, on Sticky, I'm going to say Top, and I'm going to disable it on mobile, because it's not very useful on mobile. And these offsets, in this particular instance, we don't have to worry about offset. What we're going to pay attention to is effects offset. What that means is it's not going to go into effect until the user has scrolled up 100 pixels. Now the offset would be as if, let's say I was wanting to make both of these things sticky. I would make this sticky and have an offset of 0, and then I'd have to through the inspector or playing around with it, figure out what the height is of this section, and then set the offset. Let's say this is 50 pixels tall. I'd have to set the offset to 50 pixels so that they would stay stuck to the top together. So that's what that is. And then only thing else left to do is to add some custom CSS, which I'm going to, and I got this off, well, part of it. I changed it around just a tad. I actually got off of a Elementor training video a year or two ago, and I've actually used it. So we've got the section, we're in advanced, and we're using custom CSS. We just cut and paste that, and let me find chat, and I'll drop it in that. There's chat. I'll pop it in here, and y'all can use that if you like. So now we're going to, I believe we've got everything taken care of. So we're going to publish, but rather than just publish, because I'm doing I'm doing a header part. So I'm going to go click on this, and I'm going to put display conditions. In other words, this is going to be a header, but this is where I tell Elementor when to use this header. Because with Elementor, you can actually have a different header on every page if you were so inclined. But sometimes people have a reason to have a different kind of header on different kinds of pages, and these display conditions allow it. So click on display condition, and we click add condition. And you have includes or excludes, but we want to include. And in this instance, it's just going to be the entire site. It could be that you want to have it on the entire site, and you could add another condition to exclude it from the contact page for some reason. But in this instance, include entire site. So we save and close. Okay, so this is page with no header, no Elementor footer. This is just the default footer. So let's see if this worked. Let me move this up around here. Okay. Okay, so there's our header. Oh, and there we go. You'll notice that background is just a tad transparent. If you look at the CSS, it's 95% opaque. So just 5% transparent. If you wanted to be a solid color, you could just use a regular hex code, which is what you've seen me using before. But this RGB, this is RGBA. You may have seen RGB, and these values here, that's for the red, the green, and the blue. The A is for alpha. The alpha channel is the transparent channel. And you add on this fourth number to show the transparency. And we just have that in there to show what it can do. So go like this, and so we're all set. So one other thing I'm going to do real quick, just for demo purposes, I'm going to skip to mobile. Now, we're not going to use this sticky header on mobile, but we still have a header. So now it's not looking too good. So we got all this kind of cattywampus. So what I'm going to do is take this column, and I'm going to go to layout, and I'm going to make it 50%. And then I'm going to take this column, go to layout, and make it 50%. Now I'm going to take the padding, make it 0, but I'm going to put 20 on top, 20 on the bottom, kind of give it some space. And then I'm going to go over to this column, essentially kind of do the same thing. And I'm going to go 20 on top, 20 on bottom, and then I'm going to take this. I can't really tell it in here, but this is not centered. I'm going to make it centered. So we have something, you know, kind of looks nice on a phone. Click on that, and we have our main course. We can make these whatever color we want. And then we update. So that's pretty much how we do the sticky header. And because of time, we don't really have time for me to go through all the detail that I did here with a footer, but I have created a section that will serve as the content for a footer. And I'll show you just a real simple footer with a contact form. So this is easy enough. We'll just go to Theme Builder. We're going to go Footer, and we're going to add new footer. And we'll, appropriately enough, call it New Footer, and create a template. But instead of it adding any of these are the footers that are supplied by Elementor Pro. Instead of using this or creating it from scratch, I'm going to go to My Templates and Content for Footer. I'm going to insert it, and I'm not going to import the document settings. Document settings are things like if you had your template and you weren't yet editing in Elementor Pro, you're actually on the, you just said edit, and you would get like what would look like a normal WordPress editor, and there's things on the side that's settings like Elementor Canvas, Elementor Full Width, Default, all that kind of stuff. We don't want to pull any of that over. So that's our footer. And then we're going to publish it, display conditions, and we're going to have it be to include it on the entire site. So we save and close, and then we'll go back to our dummy page and reload it. And let's scroll down and see if we've got a footer. Oh, we got us a footer.
Very good. Did you put conditions on the template itself? I guess it
only
didn't.
only condition is that it's just that it's on the entire site.
Yeah.
Now you can. This is just for demo purposes. I've had situations to where had templates that had all kinds of conditions. I had a website I built a couple months ago. Oh, wrong one. This website. Down at the bottom, it has this. This is all part of the footer.
Okay.
This was, it's got a contact form, but on the contact page, it has a contact form. So it didn't make sense to have two contact forms on the contact page. So if you go to the contact page, that part of the footer is missing.
Great.
So there's actually two footers. One for the contact page, and one for everything else.
Okay.
So, but yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff with the conditions. And I'm working on a site now where a lot of the conditions are going to be affected by the user. So, so that's going to be an interesting thing, because there's going to be like 6 different kinds of users, because most of the people using it are going to be have logins, because it's for an organization, and it's sort of an educational organization. But so let's see if we can find our way back to where we were. let's see, I am looking for, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. So we will, so now we had questions. There were a couple of questions that Wayne had sent in, and we'll talk about those first. And then if y'all have any other questions, Brian, did we have any come up while I was running my mouth? Did Brian leave us?
Hey, Carrie, it's Cherise. I sent you questions as well.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and get Wayne's taken care of, and we'll see what we got.
Yeah, quick question, Carrie. Is this meant for, I don't have Elementor Pro.
Right.
So, you know, a lot of the functionalities that you introduced are Elementor Pro.
Right.
So, I guess just a general question before we start on my questions is I mean, I've heard, I don't know, you know, for my purposes, I have one website that it's not really worth it to go with Elementor Pro. It makes things, you know, easier, but it's kind of hard to follow some of these discussions when it's based in Elementor Pro.
Yeah, most of what we will talk about would be oftentimes involved in Elementor Pro, because a lot of the power of what Elementor can do is unlocked with Elementor Pro. And so Elementor itself is free, and there are a lot of plugins that are free, and there are some free plugins that give added functionality to Elementor. And I'm going to show one here in a second. But who was asking this question? Was this Wayne?
Yeah, it was Wayne, and it leads into my
Okay.
discussion. So when we talk about my questions, it's based on the fact that I don't have Elementor Pro. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know how much it is. I
think it's $49 a year.
Okay, so it's marginal cost. I just wasn't quite sure it was worth it, so I never got it. So when we talk about my questions, just keep in mind that I don't have Elementor Pro yet.
Yep, I gathered that from you're the Wayne who sent in the question about wanting to be able to do a modal without using Elementor Pro.
Well, using a modal just in general. So I mean, so I guess if we wanted to go into that question, I can share my screen and kind of lead into the first question that I had. Is that okay?
Okay. Well, before we do that,
okay,
I'll just say that in the question you asked about, is there a way to do a modal without having Elementor Pro? Well, I assumed that you had Elementor, and this plug-in here, Premium Add-ons for Elementor, is my understanding it's free. You can find it on the WordPress repository, and it has support for modals, and you don't have to pay for it. So, please check that out. But,
so I already have it loaded. I mean, I already downloaded it, the actual plugin. So can we walk through that?
This plugin?
Premium add-ons for Elementor.
Yeah. Okay. Brian, you think you can handle that? Go to a breakout room?
Yes, you can break me up.
Because we leave time to have other people ask questions, because we're really short on time with these things. So let's see if we can do that. So.
Oh, and quick question, Carrie. I take it that if I had Elementor Pro, would that solve some of my problems that I'm having as far as questions? Would that be more inclusive?
Yeah, because if you had Elementor Pro, you can do the modals. There is just a plethora of resources on YouTube about Elementor tutorials, Elementor itself, Elementor has a YouTube channel. I believe Greg mentioned there's a one called WP Tuts, Tuts, that does lots of Elementor and WordPress tutorials. There's just a whole bunch of people that really focus on doing Elementor tutorials. But yeah, you can go to the Elementor website and check out their I'll show you. Let's see.
Yeah, WP Crafter does a lot too.
Yeah, he does a lot of different stuff. And then there's that Fred Perskinesti. I can't really remember how to say his name.
Ferdy or something, yeah.
He's from Ferdy. He goes by. He's from the Netherlands. But here's, you can go to elementor.com and then the widget section. That's all the basic elements, and then these are the pro elements. And then there's a whole bunch involved with Elementor Pro now. There's now the theme builder, there's a pop-up builder, there's WooCommerce. You can, to some degree, customize WooCommerce. WooCommerce doesn't like to be customized, but there's some things you can do. But no, and I think, let me check the pricing.
It's well worth the $49.
They're pricing it different now. Yeah, well, they're calling it $4.10 a month. I mean, they must have raised it more than $49, but well, that's pretty close. 4 times 48, it's about $49. But no, it's worth it. Definitely.
I have that page up and it has the $49 a year. That's strange, your page is different. I'm on the exact same page.
Yeah. Huh. I wonder if it's
proxy server or something?
No.
Okay.
I'm not sure why.
$49 a year for one site. If you have 3 sites, it's $99 a year, where you can pay the $200 and build 1,000 sites.
Yeah, which is theoretically you can build as many as you want. Cause,
used to be unlimited.
Yeah, I guess somebody somewhere took them serious. So, well, Brian, I don't see where the breakout rooms are enabled. Zoom keeps changing the rules on things. Oh, here we go. Did you still have further questions, Wayne, or that Brian might be able to help you with? Is Brian still around?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm back.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess I still had a question. So I guess if we wanted to go into the breakout room, that should be fine.
Okay. Is your let me see the participants listed here. So you're listed as Wayne. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All righty, Wayne. Let me I'm going to move you and Brian over to a breakout room here. Give me just a minute.
Okay.
Breakout rooms. No. Manually. 1, 2. No. Let's see. Sign. Let's say, okay, Brian and Wayne. Hopefully y'all should go to the breakout room.
Still here.
Let's see. Options. Phone bar participants, turn breakout room.
There we go.
Okay. Okay, so we got rid of Brian and Wayne for the time being. Hopefully, that'll make sense to Wayne.
Okay. So here, I dialed in. So, am I going to have to use the audio off my computer?
Just there should have been a thing that says about going to the breakout room, and you just follow the link or the join button. Or
yeah, I did from my computer, but I called in via
it doesn't. I don't think it matters. I called in myself, so it shouldn't matter.
Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Join with computer audio. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, so sounds like Sharice had a question. She's still,
Hey, Carrie.
still here, Sharice?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was on mute.
Yeah. Okay.
I had sent you a couple of questions. I actually figured out most of them. I wanted to know in WooCommerce, I'm always asking WooCommerce questions. So in WooCommerce, on the product, not the product, well, it's the product inside of the cart page. Is there a way to hyperlink the actual item so that I can send it back to if the user or customer was to click on the particular item to take them back to review the single product page? Is that doable in CSS?
No, you wouldn't be able to do it in CSS.
Okay.
The cart pages and the checkout pages are the most difficult to work with in terms of changing. I don't remember if we talked about this last time. There is, did you ever check out the plugin Elementor?
No, I never heard of that. What is it called? Elementor?
Yeah, Elementor. It's a plugin especially designed.
Okay, Elementor. Okay.
To connect Elementor and WooCommerce.
Oh.
So I don't know if they go into describing all the things that they can do. So that is, that is, they got, I think there's some free stuff and then there's some premium stuff. So I would check out that, and there are, I think the WP Tuts guy does some stuff on this. I think I saw him down here a second ago. Maybe not. Yeah, WP Tuts is a YouTube channel that he's done some training, some demo videos, training videos on Elementor. There's also a plugin called Dynamic Content plugin. Do I have the right one? Yep. This one does a lot of dynamic stuff. Okay. And you just have to go through all the different stuff they do. But it's dynamic in the sense of linking things and being conditional stuff. And then one more that I just started using here recently on a site that I was working on. It's called Plus Add-ons for Elementor. They've got a bunch of stuff, as you can see here.
Excuse me.
These are essentially widgets. These are all the widgets. And then when you get into, they have WooCommerce stuff right in here. So you might check them out.
Bob WP is a good one too. If He does a lot
Bob
of
WP
Yeah, he does primarily WooCommerce.
on
Okay,
YouTube channel.
thanks.
The website.
Okay, let's see if we can find old Bob.
So Carrie, going into the actual class, there's no way that you know of to be able to add a hyperlink to a title within the cart? Just
Not
manually
via a
doing it?
class. Do you know of any way, Greg O'Brien?
No, I don't.
Classes are different from hyperlinks.
I have to write a little code to intercept it at that point and add the link to it. But it can be done. But it'd be nice if you could find a plugin that did it. I just put a link in there from Bob's site that I'm not sure if this is what it does now. It's how to automatically link products together when added to the cart. I'm not sure if this is what you're looking for or not, but it might be. Check it out.
I'm sorry, what did you say that does?
I'm not sure. It looks like
he
might
just
do
put
it
a
too.
link in chat, and I've just brought it up on the screen, Cherise. How to automatically link products together when added to cart with WooCommerce.
But I'm not sure if that's what you're really looking for.
Yeah, I'm not trying to link them. What I'm trying to do is, you know, in the cart, it just has a title
Yeah, like Amazon
of
does,
each.
right?
I'm sorry?
Like Amazon does. If you're familiar with that, if you're an Amazon cart, you can link back to the original product description.
Oh, I never even paid any attention to it.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess.
I use that a lot. So yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'll take a look at that. Thanks, guys. And I have Carrie, just one other question. It's in regards to, of course, WooCommerce again. There's a little semicolon. No, there's a semicolon is the one with the comma. So a colon at the end of the short description that's appearing only underneath one product. So I've done inspect element to view everything, and I was able to locate the actual location of it, but it was pointing to a div, and so there was no way to actually change add coding.
Is it public? Is it public facing, to where that I could go to a web page and see it?
You could, or I could share my screen, whichever. It doesn't matter. Either.
Well, why don't you? Can you put the URL in the chat?
Yeah, I'll send it to you privately.
Okay.
Hold on.
Is it okay if I bring it up on the screen?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'm working on it right now. It's okay.
Okay.
I got so many windows open and
Yeah.
dual monitors
I know
going
what
on
you mean.
here. I'm trying to figure out where the heck I lost you at. You're somewhere on my screen. I'm trying to find you, Carrie. All right, hold on. There you are. Okay, 1 second.
Okay. Let's see what happens. Ooh, I hadn't had dinner yet. Okay, so where's the issue?
So first go to the shop. You're gonna have to excuse this. It's still a work in progress.
Oh no, it looks good so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay, so just add any cake to the cart.
Okay.
And then view cart. I hope it shows up on this one. I know for sure, so it's not on this one. If you want to go back, either continue shopping or go up to the menu and go back to cake shop.
Okay.
Do the classic pound cake, that one right there. I want to think it's
Okay.
on this one. Bingo.
Right here?
You see it? Yeah, what the heck? Like, you see how it should be with right after eggs?
Yeah.
But for some reason it's not showing up there. So when I did an inspect element on it, I was able to navigate to where it's actually located, but when I looked at it, it was a div, and clicking on that, it was just showing just the colon and no options available for me to include any kind of code to kind of play around.
Is that the only product that it's doing it on?
So it's doing it on that one, and hold on, I think it's doing, I put a dummy one in that may not be public. I think I hid that one. It was doing it on another one. It was in the email that I sent you if I could find that.
And no matter how you change that description, you can't get rid of it?
So no, I tried that too. I copied the exact contents from a previous one. Like for example, that chocolate chip one was just added the other day when she came up with that. And so it's not doing it on that one. But if I copy from another product and paste it in there, it still appears. And I don't know what that is. And yeah, I thought so too.
Let's see.
It just kind of stood out to me, and I was like, well, what is that? I mean, if I have to redo it.
Let me see here.
Excuse me.
How this is being done. Middle class. It's part of that. This have a body. It's TR class. Let's see here. Down here. See. Go here. What's that? What's that? Okay, so it's inside of this class. Data title product.
Isn't it bizarre? Like, I mean, like where, and I even added like colons. I went into the actual product and added some colons and some other gibberish and stuff after eggs, and that appeared in the right spot, but that colon is just like out of nowhere.
I see there's a whole bunch of stuff just right around an ellipse. Of course, it might be just this.
And then I tried to do a display none, and then of course you know what happened. Everything disappeared.
Sure. Well, any fellow Elementor experts have any ideas on that one?
I'm looking at it in Inspector right now.
Besides hitting it with a hammer. Excuse me. So you see the product names, that's what I was trying to do a hyperlink to. I guess like, I'm not sure who was speaking
just
earlier.
Like this?
Yeah, to do a hyperlink on that. I didn't know if that was doable or not. Because eventually what may end up happening,
well,
if I can't find that
colon. Well, it depends on how you input that name. If you're putting that name in like a field, you could actually probably put the link wrapped in title in the link, and a lot of these fields ignore the HTML.
So originally that's what I did with the font color. And it wasn't until I spoke with Liz during another session, excuse me, I don't know why my voice is going, that so it was coming out on her it was going to come out on her invoice. It actually wrapped. You know what I'm saying?
It's printed. Yeah, gotcha,
right.
Gotcha.
So I had to go in and put the CSS in to change the font color. So that's why I was wondering if I could have used CSS to add a hyperlink to those particular items.
Well, adding the hyperlink wouldn't really be CSS. That would be HTML.
But can I wrap that in? Can I place the HTML in the CSS editor or section?
No,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Not in CSS. I mean, you might be.
So I'd have to go into PHP. How would I change that without wrapping? Because I can't wrap it around. I can't wrap it around the product within WooCommerce product page.
You come to the WordPress Gwinnett, don't you?
You broke up.
I say you come to the WordPress Gwinnett meetup.
Yes.
Like
yes.
with Naomi and Liz, Micah.
I do.
That would be more a Micah or Naomi question.
Okay.
Particularly Micah, because now you're getting into coding, and Naomi's pretty darn good at that. Micah's the best I know at. If I had a coding question of how many people I've met in WordPress over the years, Mike would be the guy I'd ask.
Okay.
So
probably this colon thing too, then, huh? Because I don't know where the heck that is. Like, that's just weird.
Yeah, I'm looking at the inspector. It's where it's hanging down below 3 divs by itself.
Yeah, you see, I told you.
Yeah.
I was like, it took me like a half an hour to actually locate that. You found it instantly because you're a trained eye. But, and I'm just learning. So I'm like, oh my God.
Have you tried putting 2 colons to see what happens?
Yeah, I mean, I added a whole bunch of gibberish. I can actually do that live and then tell you what happens, but it's just like, or well, if I do it now, you'll be able to see it. So I'm just not sure where that is coming from. It's just so bizarre. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Is the colon that's there, is that a colon you typed and it's just in the wrong place?
No, I mean, it's literally right after the word eggs. That's where it is.
In what in the text that you put in.
Yep. Let me see. I gotta log back in. I mean, that was what was so weird, because I'm saying that's, clearly that's the short description. So when I clicked on it, I'm just saying to myself, it doesn't make sense. Like, why is it?
It's acting like there's some kind of line break right there.
Okay. It might be something I'm missing.
There is a space after eggs, but
you see that? Okay, well, let me see. Maybe I'm missing that. I mean, they always say ask for another set of eyes. Okay, let me look at the products again. That's the classic.
I think WordPress
right?
may be adding that space.
Oh, does it do that? Just randomly add spaces?
Well, if you look at the inspector, you can see a line above and below your text. And
okay, so let me see.
Divs and then the colon. It's weird to have pulled away from the word.
Okay,
egg.
so this is the thing here. I swear, if I press delete and this thing pops up from the bottom, I'm going to scream. Okay, so this particular one, I'm seeing no colon anywhere, and I've done a shift and down arrow to try to see if anything's at the bottom, and there's no colon. So I'm not sure where it's hiding. So in short description, it's not there. It's not even there. Like, the colon doesn't even exist. So where could it be hiding?
So you didn't put those colons in. So you're saying?
For this one, I'm looking at it right now. It looks just like this one. Well, you can't see my cursor, but it looks just like the second product, the classic pound cake one, but the colon doesn't exist. It's not there. And there's nothing below it. Like, I'm not able to move my mouse and go down and see
when you entered the description, you didn't add the colon, right?
Well, apparently not, because it's not there.
Okay.
But I thought I did. So let me what do you think? Maybe add the colon and maybe see. I played around with this so much I may have deleted whatever was there, but it's still showing up on the screen. So I'm gonna save this. I just added a colon. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. The whole thing may blow up. Okay, try refreshing now. I wonder what's gonna happen.
So now you have 2 colons.
So great. See, I told you, I don't know where that thing is coming from. And there's nothing on this page. I mean, there's literally nothing. There's nowhere else I don't know where else it could be added. Like I'm looking at product short description. So I just added the colon. Now we have 2. And then in, above is just the product detailed information that goes along with the actual on the single product page. So I'm not sure where that's at.
I don't know. I looked at the inspector and I don't see where what would be causing it. But if you have time, WordPress Gwinnett is meeting a week from tonight.
Okay.
And check that out.
I will. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you. I'm sorry, whoever was speaking. Yeah, I just thought maybe I was going nuts and I wasn't saying something correctly, but you guys saw the same thing that I saw. So thanks.
Yeah, sorry we couldn't be more.
No, you're helpful because you confirmed that I'm not nuts. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions or comments or things that are going on?
I think I just put in there, Cerise.
Okay.
There's an answer.
You still there, Sherry? I don't know.
I'm sorry. I put myself back on mute. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, look at the link I put in the comments.
Okay.
It
Thanks,
talks
Greg.
about what you're seeing.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
So does anybody else have any questions or comments? Okay. What kind of stuff would be most helpful to y'all for us to cover in these meetups, the folks that are still here? Is there, because in looking at the last two or three, I guess last 3 online meetups, I've surveyed the people who have come, and most people who have come are relatively new in their Elementor journey. So we haven't tried to get too complicated, although, we have, when my conversation with Wayne showed we did talk a lot about Elementor Pro because really that's kind of the meat of Elementor. But are there particular things that would be of help to y'all?
What you did this evening was very good. I enjoyed that.
Because, well, let me tell you, I wish Brian already knows this. I wish he was part of it, but he'll know. Brian and I talked a week or 2 ago that we thought it might be an interesting thing because another meetup group that we both belong to, that's a WordPress meetup group, kind of made a group project out of building a website for the meetup. So we thought that might be an interesting thing to do, because you notice that let's see, is it still good? Yeah. Notice that the logo here says Elementor Gwinnett County. So if we ever decide that we want to make our own website for the meetup, we've already got that kind of set up. But I thought that might be an interesting thing to do. And when we are recording these, and in time we could have a video library. We could cut out snippets of some of our meetups where training and have them like a library of stuff. But it was just some ideas that we had. So if y'all have ideas about things that we could do on a Elementor Gwinnett County WordPress website, because I looked at Elementor-Gwinnett.com or org, it was available, so we could actually build our own website. And y'all kind of watch it being
That'd be
built.
cool.
And
Yeah, our local
Carrie?
locals doing the same type of thing.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that
Yes,
would be
Sheree?
cool. I would really like to do that. But I have a question in regards to what you did earlier. The display settings of your WordPress, how did you get it to appear? Well, I guess it was the Elementor editor that you were in, where everything was coming up to the left and you could actually click on it. Everything was dark, but when I go into mine, everything is white. Did you?
Well, in Elementor,
Yes.
there's some settings. I think there's dark mode and light mode. It's been so long.
I looked and I couldn't
Are
find
you
it.
using the current version of Elementor? Or
Yes, and I'm using
current?
Pro too. Yep.
Yeah, go into preferences where you just were. On
You
the
said
page.
preferences? Okay.
There's a dark mode, light mode. It's from the actual Elementor page.
Oh, okay.
So settings. Oh.
You see it?
Is this what you're talking about?
No, go back to the page where you were, where you had the tools on the left.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, because mine look like the first one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
talking about
How did you? Yeah.
The
how did you
settings
do
here?
that? Yes.
This what you're talking about?
Yes.
No,
No, I don't think that's what you're talking about.
Go to preferences,
Gotcha.
UI theme,
Yeah, okay.
dark light.
Dark light.
Yes.
I
So
like
wait a
that.
second. How did you get? Wait, can you back up? I'm sorry. How did you get to that section? Like you just went to a tab and got
Went
there.
to
It's the
settings.
settings, yeah.
Settings.
So go into settings under Elementor, and then from there, where?
No, let's see, settings.
Style, maybe?
Now hit the hamburger menu,
Oh, yeah,
then go to preferences
that's right.
I don't see that.
and the UI theme at the
Okay.
top.
My
That
screen.
go-
doesn't look
That
like
second
that.
option is
Go to-
nice too.
My screen
So
doesn't
we
look
go-
like that.
Do you have the latest version?
I thought I
2.5?
did. I'll tell you in a second.
Let's
It
see.
hasn't told me I needed an update, so let's see. Elementor Pro.
Okay, so if you're in the
2.1.
regular, sorry?
It says 2.10.
That's the latest. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty, 2.1?
It says, well, 2.10.3.
Oh, okay. Now that's relatively new. I think the latest is what, 2.13 or something. Anyway, so
Yeah.
It should be there. Strange.
if you're in the
So my
editor,
screen looks
see-
like the other screen you were on, where you have the dashboard and all that to the left, and nothing spans out to the right. I don't have elements or global at the top right now. We're actually in a page, so that's why. But I don't know. It's just weird.
There's also a plugin that does that called Flexible Elementor Panel.
Okay.
You might check that out.
Thank you.
And
All kinds of crazy.
The edit handle is kind of nice too, where you just work. So you don't
I'm
have
sorry.
to write.
What is it called?
The plugin's called Flexible Elementor Panel.
Okay.
Where you were on settings, that second option is kind of handy too. Instead of right-clicking on the icons, you can it'll just pop up. Go to preferences
Uh-huh.
and check that middle edit handles.
Oh, edit. Oh.
Now, if you go over one of the elements, you'll see that you don't have to right-click anymore.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, that's handy.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's see here.
It just pops out.
Yeah, that's cool.
Ah,
I was
cool.
unaware of that.
Saves time.
Very good.
Huh.
Oh yeah, it's very awkward for me to right click. I don't know if it's because I'm left-handed or what, but.
And then
I don't
sometimes
like
for
right-clicking.
me, trying to even find it, like it doesn't even allow me to like hover over and click. It's just, and then turn the
Well, that's where
navigator
the
on.
Yeah, the navigator saved my behind a million times. Well, particularly, well, there was one project I think I showed y'all a couple of meetups ago that had a bunch of layered images, animated images, and there's like 11 or 12 of them. And navigating through that was, if I didn't have the navigator, I'd have been screwed.
And negative margins will hide that too.
Yeah, and it's an easy way to move. You can not just navigate through, you can reorder stuff, and that's helpful too.
Yeah, that's cool. Yep.
So
Well, I learned a lot today. Thank you.
theme styles, these are where they're coming in. And these are the part of the new theme styles they're building out. This is just the tip of the iceberg, according to Elementor. So what did y'all cover today in your meeting, Greg?
We covered
Your
responsive
meeting.
design.
Okay.
I had a speaker from the Greensville, South Carolina Elementary group. She came and talked about doing responsive
my wife, that's where she lived before she moved here.
Oh, really?
Greenville, South Carolina. Yeah, and she's got a couple of brothers that live up there. I've been there a few times. Not lately, but when we used to go up there quite a bit. But I go through it all.
Yeah, I saw her at a meetup last month and asked her to do it, and she obliged and did a very good job. Had about 23 people, so good crowd.
Good.
Hey guys, I have a quick question for you. Wayne and I were using the pop-up builder in the Elementor Pro.
Okay.
But we're stuck at the conditions, and I wanted to get them past this before the entire meeting.
Do you need conditions? Is he
yeah, but go ahead, Wayne. Tell them exactly what condition you want the pop-up. We created the pop-up. We just used one of the templates just for functionality, but he can tell you exactly how he wants it to work.
So the condition is that it's going to only be used on one page, and when they select a particular word on that page, the pop-up modal whatever pop-up will appear.
Well, I wouldn't use any conditions. I'd just put a link on that word to pop it up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Just hyperlink it, and you can do it by ID, as I recall. Y'all jump in if I'm going down the wrong track, but as I recall, the way those work is that you assign an ID, like you can do it to like a class.
Class ID.
Which is
class ID.
Yeah, it would be ID style equals quotes ID. Actually, it'd be ID equals quote marks, and then put a name, and then in the style sheet you would, instead of saying you would use a pound sign for the ID.
For the ID, yeah, pound, and then whatever you name the ID.
Okay, so let's make sure. So my goal here is the web page that the link would be on, that I would remain on that page even when I select a pop-up. It wouldn't take me to it.
Yeah.
So,
No,
that's correct.
Sure. Trying to think if I have any websites off the top of my head. Well, let's see.
So I was going to share my screen, but I guess I can't right now.
Well, we're kind of running out of time now, but like for instance, this web page, whatever how many blobs there are here, there's that many modal pop-ups, and these are just images. So if I can link to an image, I can link to a text. So if I click on that, that pops up I don't maintain the site anymore, so they haven't kept the font awesome stuff up to date. But that's why that X isn't working. But so each one of these is a modal pop-up, and they're all just staying on the page.
Yeah,
Sorry?
that's exactly what he wants to do.
So it's just a link, and I don't recall, but it seemed like it had to do with an ID. And you would give the modal an ID, and then in the link that you would apply to the image or the text, you would reference that ID.
So it would be, the pop-up says select or paste URL or type to search. Are we saying that I would type in ID something or modal ID?
What I would do would be to go to YouTube and type in, or just type in Elementor Pro modal pop-up.
I think there's one on Elementor site that does a pretty good job of that.
Yeah.
Tutorial. Correct.
I've checked the Elementor site, Elementor tutorial, and but yeah. So see, this has got a whole bunch of pop-ups, and it never leaves the page. And essentially, each one on this particular instance, each one of these, the content of these modals is an Elementor section saved as a template. So it just pulls, it pulls up a template.
Okay, because I've often found some of those YouTube videos, they start in the middle of something. It's often difficult to follow where you get to where they started.
You wanna use, that's a feature, a new feature on YouTube for some reason. They'll go further into the video. Just make sure it's the Elementor video. It's not someone telling you about Elementor. It's the actual, from the company Elementor. They have tons of tutorials on almost every feature they have.
Let me see. We've run out of time, but let me see if I can real quickly. Elementor YouTube. Find one. So let's see. Modal pop-up video. That's Elementor. That's ultimate add-ons for Elementor. Is that Elementor? Yeah, did you say y'all are using the pop-ups, Brian?
Yes.
Okay. So here's this will be a place to get you started. I'll put this in the chat, Wayne. And somehow or another I got that's to Sharice. It shouldn't be. It should be everybody. Sorry. Do it again. Okay. That should take you to this video, and Ben Pines is going to go through and talk to you about it. And there's some more links about that in this, so that should get you on your way, Wayne. Hopefully.
I hope so, because like I said, I went through YouTube for probably at least 2 hours looking at various things and adding plugins, and it never quite got me to where I needed to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
This Elementor one should definitely help you, especially since you have Pro now. Yeah, just stick with Elementor. You might even want to subscribe to this channel because they have excellent tutorials. They're the creators of the software, so they're going to be able to explain it a little bit better than someone who's using it most of the time.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Well, I think that's about all we got time for. As some old TV show used to say, the old clock on the wall says it's time to go. So I appreciate all you coming and helping out, and hopefully you got something out of it. And I look forward to seeing y'all next month. We are gonna, as we're going to be doing it again online next month. It's going to be the second Thursday. I believe it is, got too many darn windows open. Let's see here. It is Thursday, August 13th. So mark your calendars.
Will do.
And buy yourself a cake from Auntie Kim's.
Did you tape this one, Carrie? Is this one recorded?
Yep.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Just send that out.
I'm recording it. And I'll Zoom will do its thing, and in the morning I'll get a download link, and then I'll upload it to my YouTube channel, and it'll be unlisted, and I'll send out the link tomorrow sometime.
Sounds good.
Hopefully.
Thank you.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, and y'all have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay, you too. Everybody be safe.
Bye-bye.